Hey everybody, this is Doa, and I am so psyched right now. I've got a little bit of a head cold, so hopefully I sound like myself, but it doesn't matter. I'm way too excited to feel sick right now because I am getting to cast some of the unseen replays from MLG Columbus, that is right. And let's just get right into it. As you can see from the top of the screen, we have got EG iNcontroL spawning as our red Protoss player up at the top left part of Taldrim Alter, and his opponent down at the bottom is none other than Team Liquid's own TLO. That's right. I know he's taking a little bit of a break from practicing, from playing right now, but he still showed up to play us a couple games here at MLG. So I'm excited to see what he's doing, because really, honestly, I didn't actually get to see him play any of his games at MLG. I happened to miss all of them. So I'm really curious to see what both of these guys are doing. Of course, they probably know each other pretty well. I mean, they've both been around the Starcraft 2 scene really since its inception, only about a year ago. Can you guys believe it? It's only been about a year since Starcraft 2's come out, and look at kind of the progress we've made so far. Anybody who's seen the VODs from MLG Columbus, who was there like I was, knows that esports is here in such a big way, especially in the form of Starcraft 2, of course. So yeah, just extremely excited to be able to check out a few more games from that great event and bring them all to you guys. We see iNcontroL doing a little bit of scouting with his probe. Always good, of course, to scout. You don't need me to tell you that. Any old Bronzy will be able to tell you that. It's good to know where your opponent is. We have TLO putting up a barracks kind of near his choke. Doesn't look like he wants to do any sort of wall off or anything like that. And he's also getting his gas as well, as we can see. So probably going to be, well, kind of depends. Sometimes people like to get that Reaper on this map to move around a little bit quicker, do some scouting. Some people like to do that to do a little bit more teching, obviously. TLO, I mean, is one of those players that has a lot of different builds. I mean, this guy is definitely one of the most creative players out there, so it's really tough to say what we're going to see out of him. For sure it's going to be something good, it's going to be something fun to watch. TLO has never once disappointed me in a game, so I've got high hopes, of course. And he usually doesn't play all that cheesy either. I mean, he does like to expand early, he does like to play a longer game than a lot of the games that I've seen, so wouldn't be surprised if we saw something like that as well. Getting a second Marine, so not getting that tech lab right away on his barracks. It looks like he might be just saving up for something like a factory or something like that, possibly calling down a mule there. And let's see what iNcontrol's up to. Getting his cybernetics at the normal time, getting a second gas pretty early as well, so this would probably suggest some sort of either teching up, or possibly we've seen a lot of players get that second gas to do something like, you know, Void Ray expand or a Robo expand or something a little bit more common against Terran opponents. So both these players really do have a lot of options, and on a big map like Taldrim Alter, I mean, man, you've got a lot of time in a lot of cases to kind of get going what you wanted to get going. Factory going down for TLO right now, so he indeed is going to be doing a little bit of teching. We do have some Marines kind of scoping things out. They don't want any probes to get in there. The less information you can give to your opponent, the better. Of course, StarCraft 2 is a game of limited information, and the person who can limit their opponent's information is more often than not the person who ends up coming away with the W. We have a Stalker for iNcontroL as well, doing some scouting, looking for any sort of proxies, any sort of hidden SCVs that might do some scouting later. So both of these players really aware of what's going on. iNcontroL really chrono boosting out this Warp Gate research too. Very interesting, and a little bit of a fight in the middle of the map. The probe almost goes down, and iNcontroL microing his Stalker a little bit. Theoretically, you can kind of micro your Stalker infinitely against Marines just because they do have that +1 range, but for now, TLO with his superior numbers is going to take the Xel'Naga Watchtower. He does have a Hellion there as well, and I think Hellions are kind of one of those things that people have been kind of underestimating their use in TVP. I mean, it's surprisingly easy to sneak them past the Protoss forces, get in there and kill a lot of probes. So I think Hellions are going to be something we're going to see a lot more in TVP in the future, maybe in the next couple months or so. Looks like TLO going for a second barracks right now, as well as getting his expansion. Moving up right now with some Marines and a couple Hellions, and so a little bit of an early push from TLO. We're going to have to see just how much damage he can do with it. iNcontroL expanding here, and he only has a couple units. Hellion's trying to get in there. One gets trapped. Nice force field from iNcontroL there. TLO putting a lot of pressure on this Nexus, so he's going to cancel. Doesn't look like he is. TLO pulling back there. He does get the Hellion to do a little bit of scouting. Maybe kill off a couple probes, but really this is more or less just to kind of see what his opponent's up to. Yeah, I don't think he actually killed anything at all with that Hellion, but you know what? It was super valuable anyway, because now TLO has seen everything. He's seen that iNcontroL is just going with a standard 3-gate expand, and this is a Protoss build that, as you can see here, a lot of Protoss players tend to use to put some pressure on their opponents after they do that expansion. So we've got those units from iNcontroL wandering past us on the screen here. A lot of Stalkers, one sentry taking up the rear. He's like the slow fat kid in elementary school. He gets a participation ribbon in the race, but that's okay because he makes force fields, which makes him actually even more awesome than the Stalkers. TLO has a good force waiting for him at the ramp, though. Good amount of Marines, couple Marauders as well, or rather Hellions. Sorry about that. Those are not Marauders at all. I don't think a Marauder could drive a Hellion. I don't think he'd fit in the driver's seat there. A little bit too small. So now TLO, since he's got a decent amount of Hellions, is going to be able to go out and get a little bit of map control, do some scouting, and adding on some more barracks as well, getting stim. But this is what's really interesting me right now. Look at that, a pretty quick Ghost Academy from TLO, even before his second gas is up. Very interesting because Ghosts, although they are a little bit cheaper gas-wise than they used to be, they are still 100 gas, so TLO definitely going to be using a lot of gas on those Ghosts in the coming moments here. He does have, of course, his second base up and running, as does iNcontroL. TLO scans to just make sure that there wasn't any sort of cancel or any sort of 4-gate shenanigans or anything like that. But it really looks like iNcontrol's just deciding to play more or less defensive this game. And TLO sees that right away, and he knows that he has the time, he has kind of the breathing room, I guess you could say, to take down these rocks, maybe take a fast third. We'll kind of see how this pans out, because about the time this third would come out would be about the time iNcontroL would normally want to make some sort of push. I mean, his tech is going to be up there. As you can see, his robo's up ready. He's pushing out an Immortal right now. He's also getting his Robotics Bay. So about that time is when you see Protoss do a little bit of a push off 2 bases. So we're going to have to see if he follows through with that. Keeps TLO from taking his third a little bit quicker. Now the Observer for iNcontroL is kind of flying around. He's going to take a look at some of the units here. Hellions hanging out by the bunker, wishing that there was a garage door in it so they could hop inside as well. But you know what? Bunkers only shoot flames in the single player, so they are unfortunately out of luck. But iNcontroL will get a good kind of view of everything, although he does not actually see this Ghost Academy that TLO has. He didn't bring in his Observer far enough yet. TLO checking for a third, making sure that iNcontroL hasn't been trying to do any sort of fast, risky teching against him. And, you know, he could theoretically run these Hellions into the base too, possibly, if he can kind of sneak him past this army. A little bit riskier, but, you know, I've seen players do it every once in a while. Looks like TLO, though, is ready to do a bit of a push, and this is actually kind of a scary push. Now, iNcontroL sees this. He knows exactly what's coming. We do have a Ghost that does have EMP ready to go, and looks like TLO is going to try to sneak in there, but, of course, these Hellions are not going to make it. Trying to kill off a couple sentries. Nice move by TLO, but the force fields for iNcontroL really, really good. The first Colossus just coming out right now, and TLO's army is split in half. Yeah, indeed, he is going to need to pull back. Pretty powerful army, but iNcontroL, I think, is in a little bit better shape right now. Yeah, especially with that Colossus bringing up the rear there. TLO definitely going to need to play a little bit more on the defensive. And it looks like he's going to stim again. Now, no Medivacs. Ooh, taking out the Immortal as well. And so TLO, knowing that his units probably would have gotten caught, just deciding to turn around, doing a little bit of damage, doing kind of whatever he can to sort of whittle down his opponent. But iNcontroL definitely coming out ahead in a big way in that fight. The supply is still pretty even. iNcontroL adding on a couple more gateways right now, pumping out some more Colossi. This is a very, very kind of a standard, typical, just good, solid verse Terran build that iNcontroL is doing, just going gateway and Colossi. Nothing wrong at all with that. Very, very strong against bio. It's going to need to, it's kind of force, that's what I'm trying to say, force TLO to sort of adapt his playstyle to sort of counter that. Ghosts are sort of a good start, but he's going to need to do something else. Looks like iNcontroL as well, getting his forge. There he is, getting 2 forges to get those upgrades. A lot of North American players do like to get those 2 forges to get the upgrades going at the same time. TLO, in the meantime, getting his expansion up at his third. And iNcontroL still flying around with that Observer. I'm actually a little bit surprised that TLO hasn't gone for something like an engineering bay, putting up a turret at his choke or something like that. I'm kind of looking around for an engineering bay right now because a lot of Terrans do like to do that. I mean, I know I do. TLO looks like he's just going to be going for Medivacs. Lots of bio. Skipping the Vikings altogether for now. That is actually a little bit surprising too. I mean, a lot of times the standard response for Terran is, of course, to get those Vikings to counter those Colossus. But TLO saying, no, you know, I've got enough confidence in my micro with my bio units, enough confidence in my positioning that I'm just going to skip the Vikings altogether, just try to wear you down with drop play. And so we're going to have to see how that works out for TLO. He's going to move out with another decently sized army. But again, the observer for iNcontroL right there. He's kind of waving farewell. He's like, bye guys, good luck. Have fun storming the castle. And it looks like TLO is meeting iNcontroL in the middle of the field here. TLO, though, having to pull back again. This very, very strong standard composition from iNcontroL doing pretty well. TLO does have a fairly strong army. Those Hellions, I love the addition of the Hellions. Whoa, a Colossus almost going down, escaping with just 5 hit points. And that is one lucky Colossus. This one, too, 18 hit points on that one. TLO needs to retreat again. I like the idea of Hellions to take out sentries, but it just has not been working out for TLO. Those Colossi need to be careful because they could be killed by SCVs. One goes down. iNcontroL still pressuring right now. TLO pulling the SCVs. TLO in a bit of a predicament right now, but all the units are at such low health. Looks like iNcontroL is just going to barely come out ahead. And he is sending some units down the field, as we can see from the mini-map right now as well. When did you see a Colossus run from SCVs? How often do you see something like that? Actually, funnily enough, I have killed Colossi with SCVs in a ladder game, but that was an embarrassing game, so we're not going to talk about that anymore. TLO pumping out some more bio units, but really at this point, I mean, iNcontroL doing so much damage, all the SCVs getting taken out. That Colossi was the weak one. He was the weakest link. Goodbye. This one's much, much more stronger, has a lot more hit points, so we'll keep him around for a little while. TLO, you know, kind of pushing back iNcontroL a little bit here. Supply still definitely favoring iNcontroL. He's about 40 supply ahead, and TLO moving out with, which is not really much of a, well, it's sort of a desperation attack right now. He knows he's so far behind, even stimming to try to outrun the units, get the high ground, trying to stim around to take out the Colossus. Nice little snipe there by TLO, but again, you know, those units are so low. He's really, really on the defensive right now. Medivacs do escape. TLO making more Marauders. So if TLO kind of responds standard, I wouldn't be surprised to see him at all go for something like Viking, Marauder. That's a pretty standard Terran versus Protoss. And then adding in some Ghosts, of course, as well. In the meantime, iNcontroL adding on a lot of Zealots. No Zealot charge quite yet. He actually just started it. Where was that? There's the Twilight Council right there. iNcontroL working on 2-2 right now for his ground units. Getting charge as well. I love, love, love getting Zealot charge against Terran. It's so good, especially when the Terran does go just bio like that. And I don't know, it's just kind of fun. TLO with a kind of a late game Reaper, very interesting. Looking for that third baser. He does prevent the probe of putting down that pylon. And is the Colossus going to get it? He does. So TLO trying to do a little bit of scouting, but of course iNcontroL is indeed ready for that. But all in all, you know, nice little moves here and there from TLO, sniping the Colossus, making kind of a mid-game Reaper to do some scouting. TLO's third is up and running. Let's take a look at the income tab real quick. 77 harvesters for iNcontroL to the 59 of TLO. So iNcontroL, you know, does have a bit of a stronger economy. He's already getting his fourth right now as well. TLO managing to hold on, but I just feel like his kind of resistance to building Vikings early in the game really kind of made that attack go in iNcontrol's favor. I mean, it was a couple other factors, but that was the one that kind of stuck out in my mind. iNcontroL only about 10 supply ahead though right now, so TLO is definitely still in it. It's definitely still in it. Yes, of course. Why not? Who needs the English language anyway? Alright, so TLO, iNcontroL, bit of a standoff right now. iNcontroL transferring some probes over to his third base. Definitely good. A couple cannons up there as well. And it looks like TLO is going to move out. That is actually kind of a beefy army for TLO. He has a good amount of Marauders. He's got some Medivacs. What else does he have there? He has some Vikings doing some forward scouting. And check out that statue there. Neat if there's a way to like make that come to life or something like that. That'd be kind of cool. But, you know, this army for TLO, I feel like it's just not going to be very good against what iNcontroL has. He has Zealots with charge. And yeah, here come all the Zealots right now. TLO can kite this a little bit here. But, you know, it will keep the Colossi very safe. So TLO taking out quite a few Zealots there. But, you know, overall, I mean, iNcontroL still looks to be in pretty good shape. But look at this, supply evened up right now. And iNcontroL going with, where is it? It's on the production queue, but I don't know where it is. It's going with a Dark Shrine somewhere. There it is. Dark Shrine for iNcontroL. These kind of late mid-game DTs are something that we've seen a ton of Protoss players using lately. And, you know, there's absolutely no reason not to. First of all, you can run them into all their bases. You can do a lot of scouting with that. You can put pylons all over the map like we see iNcontroL doing right now. It's got probes everywhere, looking for things. This is going to be so great for harassing TLO with those DTs. One Marauder just kind of checking things out. He does see the base, but he's just going to kind of gonna catch his breath a little bit here as I try to continue to speak the English language as best I can. I'm a little bit congested, so hopefully that's not impacting things too much. But hey, what's this guy doing? Look at this one. Alright, Vikings for TLO taking out a couple units for iNcontroL, doing some scouting. And again, this SCV is just following this other one. He's just kind of overseeing the work. He's like, okay, yep, now get the minerals. Alright. In the meantime, TLO moving into that third base of iNcontroL. Take out some pylons first, depowering the cannons, depowering the Dark Shrine even. And TLO is going to get this Nexus at the same time. iNcontroL moving out across the map with a pretty strong army. He does have a couple DTs mixed in there as well. And TLO's army is split up because of that attack. 5 Colossi for iNcontroL. And does TLO have enough to defend this? I don't know. It's a pretty beefy army for iNcontroL. TLO does have a good amount of Vikings right now. Zealous moving in with charge. They are going to go after a lot of the Marauders. And the Stalkers as well, blinking right up onto the high ground. This natural expansion for TLO looks like it's probably going to be lost. Scanning to take out some of the DTs. At the same time, of course, TLO has taken out this Nexus, but all the action is here in TLO's base. The Zealots are pretty much all dead right now, so iNcontroL, you know, I almost wonder if he's kind of over-pursuing this just a little bit, because those Marauders could do pretty well against all those Stalkers, although the Colossi definitely do shut that down to a great extent. TLO pulling back there. He's kind of waiting for this army to get back. If he can, I think maybe he can get, you know, kind of a nice pincer maneuver possibly on that snipe a few Colossi. But overall, the game definitely looks like it's going in iNcontrol's favor. Look at this, iNcontroL even expanding again to the upper right position right now, taking out a ton of the production buildings of TLO. And, you know, with the way this is going, I think we might see a bit of a last stand right now. TLO might be able to clean this army up. Here he comes right now. But I've got a feeling if this doesn't do it, we're going to see a GG from TLO. Here he comes from both sides with the Marauders, some Medivacs, and that is going to be about it. The Colossi dancing their way down to the low ground there, getting away from the Marauders, and TLO does push the attack back. However, iNcontroL, I mean, he's still around. He's still got the Colossi causing some damage. That one's going to die fairly quickly. DTs for TLO being spotted by the scan. So TLO does indeed clean this up. But he's lost a ton from this right now. 125 to 96 supply for TLO. The worker count 67 to 48, also favoring our Protoss player from Team EG. So right now, iNcontroL, definitely, dare I say it, in control of this game. I'm sorry, that's the last time I'll say that. He does have that hidden base up there. He hasn't rebuilt his Nexus quite yet. Actually hasn't repowered his Dark Shrine either, interestingly enough. Looks like he is planning on moving some guys out to that now. Wouldn't be surprised if he repowered that again, as those DTs, you know, again, are so useful against Terran in the mid to late game. iNcontroL getting his shield upgrades too, so really staying on top of the upgrades is iNcontroL. 3-3 already. Let's check what TLO is at right now. He is only at 1-1, so with all the effort TLO's had to expend in defending and kind of trying to take a chunk out of his opponent, he's really fallen behind in the upgrades as well. And what is this? A nuke coming down from TLO, and this could actually work. Wow, great nuke timing for TLO. If this hits, I'm going to actually lose my mind. Oh, the army for iNcontroL coming in right now. I can't believe it. Oh, the nuke taking out a lot of units of iNcontroL. All those Colossi had such low health, but you know what, guys? I hate to say it. iNcontroL is going to say it for me, though. Going out with a bang, my friend. And TLO, despite that great nuke, I think is probably going to GG fairly soon here. Yeah, iNcontroL all over the place. TLO, GG's. And, wow, definitely going out with a bang, rather. That's a lucky Colossi right there. So, iNcontroL taking down TLO in pretty exciting fashion here in Game 1 from MLG Columbus. Again, I was Doa casting for MLG. Glad you liked it. Definitely check out the other VODs, and I will see you in Game 2.